Something that people are often surprised to find out about me is that I'm an only child. I definitely do not fit the stereotype, but all my life, anytime someone finds out I'm an only child, one of the questions they ask the most is, wasn't it so lonely? Like, weren't you so lonely without siblings? And my answer is always no. I am almost never lonely when I'm alone. The loneliest I have ever felt is in a room full of people. And I'm not talking about strangers. I do not feel lonely amongst strangers. I mean people who like me, even love me, people who care about me, people who, if I were to call them and ask them for help, they would drop everything and come and help me. That's the room where I feel lonely. That's the room where I feel like I don't belong, which might seem confusing because if you were watching from the outside, you'd be like, what do you mean you don't belong? Everyone in that room clearly thinks you do. You're obviously important here. And yeah, that's not the issue. I can fit in anywhere. I know how to manage the energy in a room before anyone opens their mouth. I know what I need to do, what I need to say, who I need to be to become an invaluable member of that group. But being an invaluable member and feeling the feeling of belonging are not the same thing. Now, for a long time, I had a theory about this. I want to start by saying I am so blessed and so lucky. For my entire life, I have had some of the most amazing humans that I have gotten to call friends. But my theory for why I felt like I never belonged is because I must have just not found my people yet. Like, I had great friends, I could fit in here and there, but feeling how I imagined it would feel to really just belong to a group, I didn't. So I figured I just hadn't met those people yet. I needed to go find those people. That theory blew up in my face in 2012. This was right around the time that Dave and I were traveling around the country for his book tour. I was meeting a lot of people, and one of those people said to me, have you ever thought about being a life coach? You're basically already doing it. And I, at that point, had never heard the word life coach before, but it sounded intriguing. So I looked into it and I was like, kind of sounds like I was born for this. So a couple weeks later, I am signed up for a year-long training and flying to California for the kickoff event. And when I tell you, I was thrilled because I just knew these are obviously going to be my people. These are the ones who are going to want to talk about the weird stuff with me, life and death and energy. And the best part was that I have no role here. I'm not the teacher. I am not leading anything. No one is going to need to come to me for help. I'm just a student. I'm just here to receive. I had high hopes. And here is how it blew up in my face. I'm relieved that there is no footage of this event because it's really embarrassing, but I kind of wish there was because I don't know that I will do the visual justice, but I'm going to try. So it's day one. Everyone has flown in from all over the world. It's exciting. We have our first morning session and then our first break. If there was a camera, here's what you would have seen. You'd have seen me standing up, stretching, going and probably refilling my coffee, normal. And then you would think, oh, obviously she's looking for somebody. She's really scanning. And then you'd think that I found her. And you'd think this because of how I start walking across the room with purpose. Clearly, I am headed for this one specific person that I found. And then you'd watch me get all the way over there and kind of keep going. And then you'd see me start scanning again and you'd think, oh, well, she must have made a mistake. That must have been not who she thought it was. Oh, she must have found her this time. She's walking across the room with purpose again. And wait, did she do it again? Did she just think she found the person and it wasn't her again? What's happening? Is she hallucinating? That's what you would have seen. And if you could have heard my thoughts, you'd have heard, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. Here? I don't belong here either? And I felt that familiar feeling. Loneliness. In a room where on paper, I should just belong. I went back to my room that night, disappointed, frustrated, journaled about it. And by journal, I mean I whined because it was probably something like, what is wrong with me? Why is the only time that I feel like I deserve to be there is in rooms where I'm the one? And that is where an identity that had created so much confusion and loneliness and unworthiness revealed itself, the one. I could always be naturally in a group as long as I was the one who everybody turned to. I was the one who people would come to if you were having a problem. I'm the one who would diffuse the conflict before it started. I was the one who was always happy to help, but somehow never, ever needed any help back, which I figured that's it. That's the problem. I am fiercely independent. I had worn that like a badge of honor, fiercely independent. But now my relationships always felt lopsided, never felt reciprocal. I never felt like I was fully taken care of because I'm the one who's needed, never the one who needs. So, okay, when you realize that you are bad at asking for help, you work on it. And I did. Objectively, I got better. If there were a scorecard, how many times in a month did you ask or accept help? My score would be much higher than it used to be. But there was something that I noticed, and I'm going to say it, even though I know I'm going to sound like an asshole. Especially if you don't resonate with this one identity. If you do, you are going to understand exactly what I mean. So I got better at accepting help. And what I realized was it didn't actually feel helpful. It did not feel like anything was easier. And sometimes when people would help me, it felt a little worse, which I know I sound so ungrateful, total asshole. But here is the best way I can explain it. You know when you get an itch on that spot on your back that you can't reach? So you ask someone else to help you, and they get so close, but they never actually hit it. Like, I got my back scratched, but they didn't actually get the itch. That's what I mean by it sometimes felt worse. I appreciated things that people would do for me, but somehow it would still feel like, I don't know, I was helping them by letting them help me, or like I was just checking, let people help you off the list. So what the hell? Don't feel better. Will I ever feel taken care of? Will I ever belong without having to be the one? And the answer from this version of me, who is on the other side, is yes, but you're going to hate it. Because underneath what I thought was a receiving problem and underneath what I thought was a belonging problem was actually a vulnerability problem. We don't want that one, do we? And that sneaky little shit was buried so far under all of the logical explanations that it took me years to find out. And I am a big believer of, like, if you find a path, you tell everyone. So here it is. You're not bad at receiving. You're bad at being vulnerable. Hi, me too. And you are excellent at being the one. That's exactly why you've got a contact list a mile long of people who like you, respect you, would help you, and you still don't feel seen. You still don't feel like anyone can support you in the way you want support because they know your role. They don't know you. You won't let them see you. They see what you have decided to let them see. And there's more. Are you ready? You don't actually want help. What you want is for someone to notice without you having to say it. You want someone to anticipate what you need and do it before you even knew that you needed it. You want someone to be the one for you. And when I dug deep enough to get there, I was like, well, shit, that's my job. I'm the one. So I basically have to go find me, which I thought about that. But that's a trap too, because even if by some miracle another one showed up and started taking care of everything before I noticed, I would notice. I can't not notice. That's the thing. So finding your people isn't the answer. Getting better at asking for help isn't the answer. Cloning yourself isn't the answer. The answer is honesty and visibility and vulnerability, which happen to be the three exact things that your identity as the one has spent decades avoiding. Your nervous system knows that being needed is safe. Being needy is not. Being useful is safe. Having a clear, defined role in a group is safe. But just being there, like belonging without having to earn it, not safe. And that is why in California, I was walking back and forth across that room like a crazy lady. Wanting to belong wasn't enough to override my own biology. If you want to feel like you belong, you have to be vulnerable. And if you are thinking, oh, okay, thanks for the information, that's a hard pass, just hold on. Because I know what you think vulnerability means. You think it means trauma dumping on strangers, somebody asking you how you're doing and you cry for 30 minutes. No. Vulnerable, in the way we're talking about it, doesn't mean helpless. Vulnerable means being honest, letting people see you. It means whatever you have been hiding, trying to make sure nobody ever sees, you bring it up. I call it the dusty basement box. And every client that I've ever worked with is convinced that what is in their box is so bad that the second we open it, I am going to recoil in horror. Like, I'm going to run away. I have been sitting next to people while we open that box for over a decade, and not once, not one time, have I thought, nope, put that back, wrap it up, back to the basement. Never have I thought that. I think usually one of two things. Either that's it, that's what's in the box, or like, okay, me too. Everyone thinks their box is going to be the scary one, and I'm still waiting. If you want to feel like you belong, you have to bring the box up, out of the dark basement into the light, and find someone to open it with you. My suggestion here is to not pick the highest stakes person in your life. Pick someone a little more neutral. That's the baby step, right? You are teaching your nervous system that being seen is safe in these little isolated doses. And then be honest. For most of my clients, I'm the one who knows their real stuff, even when they think they're still hiding things from me. I'm just like, listen, maybe I don't know exactly what's in the box, but I see the box. It's cute that you don't think I do. You don't need to find new people. You don't need to get better at asking for help. This is the answer: honesty and visibility and vulnerability. You need to start in baby steps, retraining your nervous system to believe one thing: that it is safe for you to be here, that you belong without being the one. Reminding yourself every single day that this itch is never getting scratched until you tell someone exactly where the itch is. That's what the daily recalibration is. It is a reminder that I send to your inbox every morning. The messages are short, and honestly, it's not even about what the message says. It's the opening of it every day that reminds your nervous system being vulnerable is safe. If you would like to start getting those reminders, the link is in the show notes, along with a few other ways to do this work. All right, you have been exposed, but you're okay. It's out there now, but it's a good thing. Now you just take your baby steps. Let yourself be seen. Trust that you do not have to earn your belonging by being the one. You just belong. You got this. I'll see you next time.